can find. Glad to see that I could help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
It's a Tuesday edition of Butch On Sports. I'm Simply Butch, and as always, thanks for tuning in, boys and girls here. Yes, it is a Tuesday, and a hot one at that there. So let's keep the smoke going here, and the picnic flames are ablazing, and give you some sports news that you can't get enough of. First and foremost here, let me start off saying last week I was under the weather here. And I'll go over that a little bit more through the portions of my show there. But again, I thank everyone who gave their kind prayers and get well wishes. Yours truly is still here and feel a lot better too here, I tell you right now here. So let's get to some sports news again. You can't get enough of here. First and foremost, let's talk about the Detroit Lions here first. Detroit Lions completing their 13th training camp practice this past Tuesday. I say past Tuesday because it happened in the morning when they were working out in pads and whatnot, getting ready for the New York Giants on Friday. However, their special guest today at camp was the New York Giants. Yes, indeed here. And the Lions were very, let me speak this. They were, indeed, the Lions were very hard to command a goal for many football players that were taught on defense in Pee Wee and in junior and high school and in college. When you played on defense, you're taught first and foremost to stop the run. In the Detroit Lions preseason opener, the defense did not accomplish that at all. There were some loose ends. Few bright spots, a lot of work to do. So, Matt Patricia, Monday, he answered a whole heck of a lot of questions on the state of the defense. One of them was asked the improvement of what he wanted to see on the run defense going into preseason week number 2. And he said consistency, consistency and having a run game that need to be there and to stop it. Their techniques and their fundamentals were not there in the particular game against the Oakland Raiders that speak of the fourth play of the game where Marshawn Lynch boogity-woogity right down the road a piece for 60-something yards and a touchdown, only for it to be called back. Yes, that saved them. Of course, the game didn't mean too much of anything because, again, it was a preseason game. But throughout the game, you saw a lot of holes in the ground where the Lions must have some control over the run. Coach was also asked about the philosophy of the defensive tackling and the pass rushing as well. When the quarterback dropped back to pass, we're always trying to get him. That's our number one goal, is to try to get back on the quarterback because he got the ball. And so that doesn't change. Certainly, I do not know what the scheme was before I got here. It doesn't really matter. I think we're trying to get better, and we're doing everything right now. Playing with good technique, good fundamentals, and certainly we do understand when those certain situations come up, there has to be more pressure on the quarterback. We're the kind of marriage, a rush and coverage that sometimes or something can work together as you go through the drudgery and ruttery of the season there. So he was saying both aspects need to be improved. And follow off with some more goodies here. And, let me give you some facts and figures here. First and foremost, not to insult anyone or not to indignify my intelligence there, because I like doing research very well. Matt Patricia last year, the defense of the New England Patriots, they struggled stopping the rush all last season. Their 4.7 yard per carry allowed ranked 31st in the NFL. And it was very problematic, or very much so a problem in the Super Bowl when the Eagles churned out 164 yards on 27 carries. That's including 21 and 36 yards by current Lion running back, LeGarrette Blount. Ooh, what a stinker there here. Oh, boy. Didn't mean to be that way, but the truth is the truth. So I tell you right now, and just get plain and simply to the ladders of the land, or the lay of the land, I should say. Lions got to do a whole heck of a lot of work to get ready for the opening season, which starts off in September. They'll have a chance to kind of redeem themselves with the hometown fans, and they see the progress go fourth most with them playing the Giants again this Friday. And we'll have some more to say throughout the week on some more podcasts there, which will be on Thursday and hopefully on Saturday. So we'll do our thing here on those particulars. We'll talk about that. Detroit Tigers. Let's get in some goodies on that one here. Ron Gardenhire gave Nick Castellanos on Sunday, which I was there at the stadium, a rare day off because he was sore. His foot was hurting and all that other stuff. But yesterday he came out there 5 for 4 and had a career good day. Go ahead home run in 7th inning. He drove in 5 runs. They beat the Chicago White Sox last night by a final score. Yes, by a final score of 9-5. Manager said he can't take credit for it, but yet still, a win's a win, whatever you want to call it. Castellanos has played a whole heck of a lot of games. Out of the first 118 games the Tigers have played this season, he's played 113 of them. He had a bruised foot that earned him a rare rest. However, from the point of the fact when he didn't find out he made the All-Star team, Nicholas Castellanos was hitting .216. And that's not cool. This was a guy who was hot as a firecracker, hitting over the 300 mark. But now maybe he gets his foot back in the ground and maybe get warmed up again, where he can show some consistency, because the Tigers need some leadership, and they need some leadership pretty doggone bad. Right now in the game at Comerica Park going on right now, the Detroit Tigers are trailing the Chicago White Sox by a score of 4-3. That's in the top of the 4th inning right now. Any later on advancements or newsworthy things I need to give you during this podcast, I will spread it along to you here. I promise. I promise to do that. Speaking of this weekend, the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame was a good thing, because Jack Moore's number was retired on the walls of Comerica Park in deep right, let's say deep left center field. Right there and there, number 47. And I'm quite sure Trammell's be right next to it, and hopefully next year, and we'll get to that one in a moment, maybe Lou Whitaker will get that there, although we hear rumors that that particular committee won't be meeting next year, and how in the heck they can make a contribution there, we'll never know, but we'll get to that too. First of all, let's, maybe listen to some fine, friendly phases of Mr. Jack Morris here, when he himself personally was talked to by the media. Yes, he was. He was talked to by the media and had some things to say in regards to his lovely day at Comerica Park. Let's hear something.
What's up, mate?
Can you give us a sense?
How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for talking to me.
Give us a sense, a little bit of just of your emotions of that moment. I know it's hard to compare to the Hall of Fame, but just what it meant in front of the fans of Detroit.
I can't really describe it. Detroit means so much to me. The state of Michigan, what Detroit baseball means to this community is beyond words. And to know that I was part of a team that helped kindle that love, and we're looking for the next round. 68 was quite a gap to 84, and now we've had an even longer one. So, to be there with my teammates meant the world to me. I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way. It's meaningless without sharing it. And so many fans showed up. It was wonderful.
Squeeze in here for a minute. The number out in the outfield. How cool was that? You've seen a lot of really cool things throughout this whole process, but I got to imagine that was a special moment. Looked like your face was a little stricken at that point.
I guess part of me selfishly always wondered what it would look like if it ever happened. And it's a long time coming. I didn't ever play at this ballpark, but ever since it was made and I saw all the other Hall of Famers up there, I thought, geez, someday wouldn't that be the neatest? And now here it is. And I don't know. I think I'm going to have more meaning down the road. When I come back and maybe my grandkids are a little older and they'll say, Grandpa, your number's still up there. I don't know. I don't want to put it any other way. It's just going to be cool.
Is it still hasn't really set in? Is it still kind of a dream?
It kind of is. It's such a blur. This whole summer has been such a blur, and I call it a love fest. It's just been. My wife teases me all the time. You tired of Jack Morris yet? And the answer is yeah. But it's been so much fun. I just sucking it all in.
What was it? Awesome that this day was against the Twins too. Obviously, where you're from.
Yeah. I had to be careful what I said to the Tiger fans because next weekend I have to do that to the Twins fans. So. That's pretty lucky actually. I mean, two teams that meant a lot to me in my career. It's especially here in Detroit, though. I mean, this is the rightful place for everything. Wearing this old English D on my plaque in Cooperstown. That was the right thing to do.
Is this ever something that a player dreams? I mean, obviously the Hall of Fame is probably a dream for young ball players, but to have your number retired and, like you said, on the wall permanently there for generations to come.
Yeah, especially with the legacy of what's behind me or alongside of me. Some of the greatest of all time are there, and it's half of the guys, more than half of the guys, are guys I never got to see play, but they were the legends. It was that aura of, it's almost mythical what they did. And I don't think there's that many fans still around to remember Cobb or Gehringer or Greenberg. But, they see Al a lot, and, that in itself is an honor.
I like what you said about Detroit. You didn't know much about it when you came here, but it didn't take you long to realize this was right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah,
How important was it that you had that kind of fit in and attitude with the city?
I really realized right away that I made a lot of mistakes when I was young. It's documented. I can't hide from it. I have to live with it, accept a lot of the things I said. And, I'm not proud of it, but I think the heart and soul of Tiger fans understood that Jack Morris cared, and he was out there trying to do his best. And that's what they are. They're the kind of people that are out there trying to do their best. So I think they could relate to me because of that.
Gardy made a quip about not tearing up while you're up there. Did you get a little misty-eyed?
No. I did that. Gardy just gave me strength, is all he did. So whenever you challenge me and say I can't, I show you I will. I love him. We were Lockheed mates in 91, and I said in my induction speech, he was the first coach I ever had who was younger than me, and I just looked at him like, you're my coach. How old are you? And we've been friends ever since.
I wonder, has anyone asked you this question, what's next? I mean, you had all these things going on this year planned and stuff, but now it's kind of...
It just, I hope it comes back to real life. I mean, the difference is there's an added respect now, and that's, I don't know if it should be any different than it was, but the reality is it is, and it's just so humbling for me. I think I have a greater responsibility now than I ever have, and I've been working on it for years, is that to give back, to try to embrace them, and, look them in the eye and say, how can I help you? It's not easy when you have masses of people around, but, individually, one-on-one, to take the time to listen to their story and see what I can do.
Is it last one? Just talk about finally some representation for that 84 team. I mean, even around this, people talk about championships all the time, but finally, Lou maybe gets in eventually. You and Tram, that's 3 Hall of Famers. It's about time, right?
Well, I think it meant a lot. I was the first one to be up on the wall there. Tram's going in 2 weeks. I feel strongly that Lou will be there someday, and there's other guys that we could put in the same breath. But I think there's the guys, at least that were on the field, they're proud of that. It gives us credibility, our team. What we did in the '80s, not just '84.
Yes, indeed. Yes. The credibility factor there is always good. It's always decent. It's always the thing to do. And if you liked it or not, Jack Morris is in the Hall of Fame. Now, earlier, which was the day before, I wasn't down there at the stadium, but one of my colleagues and great personal friend, Lisa Z, talked to one of the gentlemen who's part of the Hall of Fame, because they had this little plaque down there and whatever it may be. So, in decency, we gave you little parts of what the Hall of Fame has to do here. So here's this interview, Lisa Z talking, and here we go.
That's a very exciting thing. You know how long everybody here has been waiting to see this face in bronze at the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, I have. It's been a long wait, and we were very pleased this year when we saw both Alan Trammell and Jack Morris go in. It was very good for Detroit, and good for Cooperstown, too.
Tell me here, let's sit. We'll pull up a couple right here.
Sure.
Tell me about Cooperstown, how you got involved with being one of the top baseball archivists in the world. Talk to me about that.
Sure. I've been with the Hall of Fame 5 years. My predecessor was actually the former chief financial officer of the Detroit Tigers here back in the day, Bill Hassey.
Okay.
And Bill retired, and the Hall of Fame contacted me to ask if I'd be interested in the position, and was very pleased. Cooperstown's a very sleepy little village, 1,800 residents, but comes to life during the summer for 3 months in particular. And for Jack and Alan's induction, we had the second largest crowd ever for an induction ceremony of 53,000 people come to Cooperstown, so it was a very good weekend.
53,000 people came that weekend. What is the general population when there aren't events going on in Cooperstown?
Generally, as far as people who live there, 1,800 year-round residents. During the summer, we might get 2,000 to 3,000 people a day that might come into Cooperstown to see the museum.
Right.
So that's a general day during the summer months.
Now, of course, we think 50,000 of the 53,000 came because of Jack and Alan, but of course there were some other remarkable names inducted this year. Can you run down the list for me?
Sure. We had Vladdy Guerrero, who went in as a Los Angeles Angel. We had Trevor Hoffman from San Diego, Chipper Jones from Atlanta, and then Jim Tomei went in as a Cleveland Indian, played for some other franchises as well, and then Jack and Alan. There's a large class of 6 people, which was very exciting for us this year.
Yeah, it's usually not that many. Why did that shift this year?
I don't know. I think a lot of it's timing. Getting off the veterans ballot earlier in the year helped, and then 4 that were elected by the Baseball Writers Association of America. It's really based on timing and when people retire, and it just happened to be a good year.
What has been, in all the years you've been involved in baseball and the 5 years you've been in this position, the most exciting time for you in Cooperstown?
The most exciting time for me is actually, it is induction weekend when all of the living Hall of Famers come back to celebrate with the new inductees. To see particularly new Hall of Fame inductees meet some of the people that they cherish as kids themselves. When you see somebody go up and visit Hank Aaron or meet Hank Aaron, it's a very exciting time. And to see the actual new Hall of Famer be just like any other fan almost, meeting those types of individuals.
And Jack was talking about that earlier. I was listening to an interview. I can't remember who was talking to him earlier, but he was saying, and now he's one of them, which to me, well, of course you are, but for him to be humbled being in their presence and for you to absorb all of that has to be remarkable, isn't it?
It is. It's very exciting. I mean, when you look at the context of the number of Hall of Famers there are, you're basically looking at 1% of all players that played all time. And so it's a very exclusive club. And I would imagine being a member of the Hall of Fame and being one of them has got to be a very humbling experience for all of them.
Thank you. Anything you'd like to add?
No, it's just Detroit's been very welcoming for us from Cooperstown this weekend, and we're really enjoying and looking forward to tomorrow's ceremony.
Me too. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so very much. All right, now we have to find where we push stop on this. 150 years ago, when I first got into... Sorry. When I first got in...
Oh, boy, Lisa always. She brings the natural juices of a media person involved when she does the interview. She's pleasant, she's courteous, and she's been doing this such a long. And by the way, Lisa Z is the daughter of the great Specs Howard. Okay, so just telling you her background there. Has done a lot of shows, does a lot of national shows. Also a voice of WDET radio here in the metropolitan Detroit area. I thank Lisa Z tremendously. A great pal, great friend. You can't do without him here, you know? You can't do without him. Speaking of great friends, we're saddened the loss of one of our media members for a great long time here. His name is Kurt M. Snyder. Kurt M. Snyder is a media person. You might hear him a whole heck of a lot in your days, in the good old days, on WJR, WWJ Radio, other conglomerates. He was the rock that when I came to Detroit to start doing my media work was like a big brother to me here and showing me the legs, the rounds, what to do, what not to do. He passed away this past Thursday. I got that news when I was entering the hospital there because I had some problems with a little asthma there, and it's very documented to know that I do have asthma, and during these hot days of mugginess or whatever it may be, some of us who have respiratory problems kind of see fit. Matter of fact, I made an appointment to see the doctor the next day, but it couldn't wait. Went to emergency, and they admitted me there, and of course, I'm back with you guys, and again, I thank all of you for your thoughts, your prayers, your well wishes, and for me to get back on the mend there. But Kurt Snyder, getting back to him, was the salt of the earth here in the metropolitan Detroit area. We lost a great guy in media. He was Paul Chapman's big wing when Chapman was away, or he had special assignments. Again, he's done a lot for him. He was the president for 3 terms for the Detroit Broadcasters Association, which is now called Detroit Media Association. He's been the salt of the earth for many of us who are. Art Reckner is another one that he's counseled me and many of us there. We have heard Kurt say. Kurt also was a wrestler called the Hunk. Okay, he wrestled wrestlers such as the Sheik, Bobo Brazil, Killer Brooks, just to name a few. He was a promoter. He was a arranger. A lot of great wrestlers here in the Midwest. And a great friend of Laura Afro Layton, whoever remember that particular name there. Yes. Kurt Snyder is going to be missed. He'll be memorialized this Saturday. Yours truly will be there, and there'll be some sad faces, but hopefully we'll have some great stories to tell in the life of Kurt Snyder. Kurt Snyder died at the age of 64 years old. Kurt Snyder, you will be missed, and I thank you for your service to me, as well as others will thank you for the service to them. Let's move on here. The Cleveland Indians outfielder, Letty Martin. He was once a Detroit Tigers, but it's been reported that he was in stable condition on Monday as he recovered from a life-threatening bacterial infection, team executives said on their report on last night on Monday. Martin has been hospitalized in Cleveland for about a week after the infection attacked his organs. General Manager Chris Antoni reported this particular findings there. Martin's prognosis right now is good, but his progress will be measured up in weeks and not days, the doctor said. Doctors determined the infection entering the 30-year-old bloodstream, creating a toxin damaging his internal organs, compromising of their function. It was very serious, Antonio said. Thankfully, he's made a lot of progress in the last 24 to 36 hours. We give our hopes and prayers for Letty Martin, a former Tiger, now Cleveland Indian, but right now is on the mend. So hopefully he gets well, and well very quickly. The Baltimore Orioles outfielder Adam Jones famously said about 2 years ago on baseball that this is a white man's sport. He said that in his truthfulness and buffalo reaction, because sometimes some statements do come out that maybe somewhat belittles sometimes minority players. In this case, a prosperous Jim Simpson of the Atlanta Braves made a statement on one particular individual, Joe Simpson. Let me correct that there, Joe Simpson. Juan Soto was playing the Nationals sometime back, about the latter part of the week, I do believe Thursday, before they moved on to Wrigley Field on the weekend series that's just passed. And he made a statement about his age. Well, Juan Soto, as we know, has done some incredible things for the Washington Nationals, and he's only 19 years of age. And he made a statement that was just somewhat, very much so inappropriate, and always a landing joke in some of the media people, and I can't understand why they say it, that a lot of the Dominican Republic players lie about their age. And he made that statement on live television. Dominican Republic players lie about their age. So obviously Soto, who's really good, and who Simpson would go on to say has a grown man, must be doing it too. Well, Major League Baseball and others here didn't take this very, very kindly. So here's the deal. Major League Baseball said if Joe Simpson is a man, he will suspend himself for one game. Now, if he can't suspend himself for one game, we're going to ask the Atlanta Braves to suspend him for one game. And if Atlanta don't want to suspend him for one game for making a harsh statement, then Major League Baseball will move on in, and we will suspend him for one game. You know, that's kind of a bullheaded kind of stupidity that sometimes it kind of irks people, because, again, we in Detroit, we looked at a situation with this veteran committee that, you know, they try to get it right. And the reason you do have these specialties committees because you think they would get it right and go beyond some of the backwardness that, you know, society has dealt with in the past. But again, it is what it is. And we have a long way to go. Even down to Joe Simpson, who I have met on numerous occasions, seems to be a very nice and peaceful guy here. but again, blurted out a mistake that really much so has brought us down to a no, not one as far as progress and how we treat one another. Speaking of treating one another, reigning NBA champion James Harden has been investigated as an altercation outside Scottsdale, Arizona, at a nightclub. The police confirmed to the Arizona Republic, and also TMZ first reported the allegations of the incident. And according to TMZ, a woman filed a police report claiming that she was filming a fight between members of Harden's entourage and a third party outside the Mint nightclub around about 2:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. Harden allegedly grabbed the woman's wrist and threw her phone on top of the roof, hopefully to avoid a grainy footage or the allegations indicating finding that it will find its way in the Celebrity Gossip's website. That's why he threw the phone. Of course, the woman told the police that she accepted $500 from Harden and his associates. She visited the hospital, was treated for a wrist, according to TMZ Sport. She also received her phone from the roof and shared the footage with the online publication. Harden's face was difficult to decipher on camera, but I'm quite sure right now those investigations are ongoing by the police department of Arizona and Scottsdale. And we get any more on that, we will definitely report that. Shame on you, James Harden. And what are you doing out there at 2:30 in the morning? Oh, come on. Speaking of 2:30 in the morning, some great stuff here on Monday Night Raw last night. Some surprises, some shocks, and some goodies there as Roman Reigns gets sprayed in the face by some type of aerosol, and Brock Lesnar goes up there and beats his brains out. Of course, that tells me right then and there they're trying to get you to watch the world-famous SummerSlam, the antidote to letting you know that the summer is about to end and it's almost time to go back to school. Raw has some other features as well on there. Dean Ambrose returning back with the age of Seth Rollins. Of course, if you know and you've been watching the particular Raw shows the past 3 or 4 weeks, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler has been jumping them and beating the crap out of them before the show ends, or at the beginning, or in the middle, whatever you prefer to see. They all has been shown. So they told a lie that he was not in town because he was coming back from China. This was the architect, Seth Rollins. But he said, I've been in the building all along. But we did have some traveling problems, and it's because I was waiting for somebody who's a lunatic. And and Dean Ambrose come out there. Of course, Dean Ambrose has been out of action since December of 2017 after undergoing tricep surgery that ended his impressive streak with the WWE as the Iron Man. He had wrestled 1,054 matches from March the 12th to December the 17th without missing a significant stretch of time. Indeed, Ambrose had proven arguably that WWE's most reliable and consistent superstar, and he's been on Raw as well as SmackDown, and always gave a charge to the fan favorite, of course, there. But he got bit by the injury thing here. He is back 100% and ready to go, and I'm quite sure he will play a significant role in the SummerSlam upcoming this Sunday. Yes, by the way, that's good. Their pre-show starts at 5 o'clock. The actual show starts at 7. That's on Sunday. On the WWE Network, of course. Yes, they will. And speaking of that, here we go again. Yes, I will say it again. Game action for the 2018-19 school year will begin this week. Yeah, it will. Tennis and golf in both peninsulas. And that starts that gets cranked up tomorrow on August the 15th. Cross country on both peninsulas will be happening too. Soccer, swimming, diving in the Lower Peninsula, and volleyball everywhere will get cranked up starting this Friday. And of course, varsity football across the state will begin on August the 23rd, and some sub games will be happening maybe the day before on the Thursday. But hey, take advantage of it. Check out a game or an event from some of these young athletes in an area right near to your house there, okay? You know, get out there and support the kids. Get out there and take care and show that you care. Be curious of what they're doing and be curious of who's doing it too. Because this day, we heard a huge speech by the University of Maryland President Wallace Loh and Athletic Director Damon Evans visiting the home of a grieving parent of the football players Jordan McNair on Tuesday, apologizing for the school's role in his death. And it really took us home. We got to know what the heck is going on here. If you did not know, the head coach of Maryland has been suspended with pay by going through an investigation. Yes, going through an investigation. Also the head trainer, also suspended with pay while this investigation is going on. Now, McNair practicing in the early months of June, the school failed to look at their moral and legal responsibility when it comes down to taking care of our student athletes. This guy was hot. He was breathing real hard, respiratory needs, and the school didn't recognize it. They continued to push this young man to a temperature of 106 degrees in the body. Now you got to try to keep the temperature no more greater than 102. 106 degrees is a lot. And the problem of the heat stroke, that none of these was in mind to none of these big-time boogie bears who's supposed to be watching over the players, making sure that their good interest is at heart. And it scares the crap out of me that people are that damn naive. They're not take care of their business and be professional. Because this was something that was avoidable. Yes, I said it, avoidable. You have all these doctors and trainers and coaches, many as 20 of them on the field to watch over these kids. And you failed or ignored it. Be a man. You can be tougher than that. You can go longer. Some of those athletes have heard those tunes. And I'll tell you right now, it's not a likable feeling when you know you're in distress and you need some relief and you're ignored or say that you're not a man. You're just a punk. You don't want to be a part of it. You're not tough enough. Well, the parents of McNair will never get their son back because of the idiots and the culture of some ways of shape, form, or fashion of how coaches feel that they should run their teams. Now, let me say this and say this in defense. The Michigan High School Athletic Association does one hell of a job when it comes down to making coaches reliable and responsible because their CPR treatment is mandatory, not only for the coaches, but for the assistant coaches as well. And they have to go through a battery of tests and films and whatever it may be and prove every single year that they're up to date with the best techniques in time to direct and also detect heat exertion and all the other things that go along with an athlete. So let's tip our hats off to the state of Michigan on that, because they impress and encourage that everything and make it mandatory. And they'll continue to do that. This year has been a shrinkage in head injuries. And they should be congratulated on it. But of course, that doesn't mean we don't stop from there. We don't want to see no head injuries. But heat stroke has been preached and patronized for quite some time. And I can't understand why some people sit up there and ignore certain situations when they shouldn't. That's why I ask you fans, get out there and participate in the process of your child. It's hard to deal with it in college sometimes, because that's when you send your kids out to practice there, that adulthood that you have been trained and taught at the home, at the local level, neighbors and friends cheering you on. Hopefully you come out there at your very, very best. But at this point in time, when these kids are in public school, private school, high school, middle school, private school, homeschool, take an interest with your children, find out what's going on. Not only if they're in the athletic program, find out who the coaches are. Find out what kind of ability they are. Many schools now are making it mandatory to have a school trainer on staff. And if your school don't have one, by golly, make it an interest to find out who is the team doctor when they're having a game. Who's responsible for all of that? How soon will it take for an ambulance to get to the school if something tragic or something major occurs? Be a voice. Be part of the solution. Schools are not a latchkey program. For our children to be successful, it takes parents, administrators, teachers, everybody working together. And I'm going to leave it just like that, because the Maryland situation was avoidable. And it hurts my heart for those parents who'll never see their son again when they send them to school to better himself. Well, we didn't have the game this week because certain individuals had meetings and other obligations. And of course, yours truly could use the rest as well. But, you know, hey, we take a thing we do every single week called thumbs up and thumbs down. So I'm going to do one here. Let me do a thumbs down first and foremost for the Washington Nationals bullpen suffering epic collapses. I mean, epics, okay? On national TV, a grand slam home run hit against them when the Chicago Cubs came to bat in the ninth inning. Only they were leading 3-0. Matt Scherzer was doing one heck of a job, and boy, that just blew out the wind. But last night just doubled the pleasure, you know, that old double mint commercial there. As the team played, they're starting the series with the St. Louis Cardinals, and yet again, 2 outs. And St. Louis Cardinals losing by 2. They come back, and another home run screws up the win of a Washington National team. Unbelievable, boys and girls. Unbelievable indeed here. I tell you, it doesn't get any better than that. Thumbs down for the Washington Nationals there and the bullpen here. Thumbs up for the PGA and Tiger Woods' participation in it this particular weekend. I know we hear a lot of negative stuff going on and with the trials and errors of Tiger Woods, and Kopecky, what a match. Especially on Sunday. Golf has not gotten that good in a I say 4 or 5 years now here. But must-see TV was this Sunday as I was at Comerica Potch watching the game, going in the locker rooms, coming back and finding out what was going on. And Tiger Woods, he showed his rear end and he showed it proud. Sometimes you just got to go out there and have fun and just go ahead and do your doggone very best to let the chip fall where it may. And it made the golf be talked about again. Everyone is talking. And that is great to see for a sport that deserves that kind of pomp and circumstance there. Great golfers in the PGA. But there's nothing when Tiger Woods is coming out there pushing everybody to do their very best. And by golly, a two-stroke lead, falling in the second place. Who would have thought from this time he started off, and maybe a little bit on Saturday, and when he started making his push, and after, yes, I said after, a rain delay made things a lot more difficult for him to get out there and do his very best on Saturday the way he did, and not the bogey on Saturday, just to come in on Sunday and made a couple of errors and then went on the nut. Golf is very enjoyable to watch this weekend. Boy, oh boy. Hopefully he gets in Jim Furyk would put him in the Ryder Cup. On that performance, he showed everybody he got something in the tank. Finally, before we go off the air here, I will fail to mention that everyone, not only in the city of Detroit, the state of Michigan, the United States, North America, and around the world, we're all praying for Aretha Franklin, who was fallen gravely ill. Some friends who are able to reach the home where she is right now dealing with her hospice situation, like Stevie Wonders and others, has visited her. I know the news conglomerates has been very much so been staying on top of it. Franklin is 76 years old. She gospel singer who is, again, he's still, as we all know her as the Queen of Soul, has sung tremendously in public for over 50 years. Again, is in hospital care at her home, according to her publicist, Gwendolyn Quinn. Now, Quinn did not discuss her ailment, but she said she's seriously ill. And that's all we need to know. The family is asking for prayers. And please, if you can find the time to do that, please do so. You know, she has given us a whole lot of joy, more joy than we probably can give her. So let's do that for Aretha Franklin here. Let's give her the what she wanted is some respect. And some prayers will do very well as well there. That's our signal, boys and girls. We're done with this. Yes, indeed. I figure I go a little long today here. I haven't done that in a while. I just want to let you know, Butch On Sports is a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions. Yes, I will be back with you on Thursday and again on Saturday. Who knows? Whatever sports news come about there, we'll probably be talking about the Lions. We'll definitely be talking about some more of SummerSlam and the participation of that, or lack of, as should be a whole lot of stuff going on here this week. And the Lions, of course, there, getting it together, along with the Tigers, who will probably be leaving town by sundown for their weekend series. I am Simply Butch. Thanks for joining me. Check me out on Facebook. Facebook can do it for you. Butch On Sports on Facebook. Go to that page and get the podcast. I'm quite sure you can get it on The Game. The Game Show with Scott Nason, Dave McCabe, and friends of 1,000 in the background making that show so successful on their site, on The Game site. Also, potbean.com on Scott Nason's page on that, The Game Show. Also on YouTube here. Scott Nason posted it there as well. You can also hit it on iTunes, boys and girls, for me as well. Many places you can get the podcast on Butch On Sports. Give me a like on Facebook here if you care. Help me on out. Hey, have a great evening or good morning. And again, have a great day.